Alright folks, if you missed the OpenClaw 4.24 update, I got you. So this release bundled a big new integration with Google Meet. They've also added DeepSeek v4 models, Gemini Live voice support, and a long list of hardening fixes. So we're gonna walk through everything you need to know in this release here in this video. So starting off with the headline feature, the Google Meet. So OpenClaw can now join Google Meet calls. It supports personal Google authentication, Chrome and Twilio sessions, and even paired Node Chrome setups. So that way you get artifact exports and attendance tracking and recovery tooling if a Meet tab is already open. So this is very helpful for teams who are building like meeting assistants or solo operators who want an AI participant in calls. So if you ever find yourself in a team where they have an OpenClaw agent in the call, you can tell they're already pretty serious about AI workflow. So that's pretty neat. And with this update, the OpenClaw agent can listen, take notes, or even trigger follow-up workflows after a meeting. So instead of treating Meet as something outside the agent loop, your OpenClaw agent can actually listen in on the actual conversation. Gemini Live voice bridges are in too, so live voice sessions with faster model catalogs and a lighter plugin startup path. And DeepSeek v4 Flash and v4 Pro are now bundled. So with v4 Flash set as the onboarding default, they also fixed DeepSeek thinking and replay behavior on follow-up tool call turns, so the model stays coherent across multiple steps. So if you're using DeepSeek with your OpenClaw agent, this is really helpful for practical workflows like multi-step research, tool calling, coding help, browser tasks, or chained agent actions where the model has to remember what it already reasoned about. So remember in the tier list video, we talked about how DeepSeek can actually reason with their tool calling, and that's what actually makes them quite unique compared to other models. So if you're using DeepSeek inside longer agent loops instead of one-off prompts, so this feature right here would make those runs less likely to drift. Now moving on to reliability and session fixes. So under the hood, this release is really about reliability here. On the browser side, Playwright now ignores benign route races during guarded navigation, and ARIA snapshot references are bound to live DOM nodes. That means follow-up browser actions won't time out because the element handle went stale. So this is helpful because browser agents often fail in really annoying, non-obvious ways. So the page loads, then something re-renders, and then suddenly your agent loses its handle on the button or field it was about to use. So these fixes with Playwright reduce that flaky automation failure, which is exactly kind of the thing that makes browser-based agents feel unreliable even when the logic is correct. So with this release, it's still not 100% reliable to use browser automation for your agents, but it won't fail as much often. Sessions also got safer, so browser tabs now close automatically on idle or daily resets, or when you run /new or /reset. So this stops tab leaks. Forking conversations also falls back to transcript estimated token counts when cache totals are stale. So oversized threads start fresh instead of cloning a big parent transcript by accident. So these are very helpful because long-running agents tend to accumulate mess over time. Too many tabs, too much stale state, and conversations that silently become too large to manage cleanly. These fixes right here make self-hosted setups feel more predictable, especially if you leave OpenClaw running for a couple of days instead of restarting it constantly. Telegram also had two fixes with the duplicate in-process long pollers for the same bot token. They're now blocked, and polling restarts can't self-conflict before the runner actually starts. So if you're using Telegram, this means fewer weird moments where the bot appears duplicated, unresponsive, or even unstable after a restart or deployment change. And if you run OpenClaw as a Telegram-facing assistant, these fixes right here help reduce those downtime and make your agent feel consistently available. A little bit, just a little bit more. And finally, for tool result pruning, they're getting hardened against malformed text blocks from void or undefined tool handlers. So one bad plugin can't destabilize the whole context window. It's especially helpful because plugins and tools are often the messiest part of OpenClaw's agent system. One extension returning malformed output should not corrupt like the whole conversation. So this tool result pruning here makes OpenClaw a bit more resilient when you're testing custom tools, third-party plugins, or unfinished integrations. It's especially helpful too when you're setting up those custom slash commands. So that was the new feature that they had in the last OpenClaw update video as well that we talked about. So yeah, this one is especially helpful if you're experimenting with new custom tools or plugins when you're using OpenClaw. And then this one is more so for, you know, if you're going AFK and then you're giving your agents browser automation tasks for some of the crons that you're running. Compaction also got a bit smarter. So manual / compact respects your keep recent token settings, redistills safeguard summaries instead of snowballing older ones, and enables safeguard quality checks by default. So this is a pretty big deal because compaction is supposed to preserve the useful parts of a long conversation without gradually turning the thread into a pile of really, loose summaries. So respecting the recent token window and redistilling the summaries mean you keep more of the important short-term context while avoiding summary drift over time. But that is if you just run /compact. If you don't know by now, if you're using OpenClaw, you can actually type /compact spacebar, then tell your agent which particular information you want them to load in the next session. Rather than having them to compact everything and then make them guess which ones are the most important one. So basically this fix here is more so for the people that just run /compact. Based on our experience, we recommend you to choose which ones you want to compact rather than just /compact. Now we're also seeing some UI polish across the board. The /usage command now pulls from the fresh context snapshot, so your percentage is accurate, and cache write tokens are included in the cache hit denominator. So this is helpful because usage stats are how power users decide when a thread is getting too full, whether compaction is working, and how much budget the current task is consuming. If those numbers are off, then if you're running a long task, you might make the wrong decisions about when to reset, compact, or switch models. And here, this is the big one. For OpenAI codecs, system prompts are sent through top-level instructions while keeping native codecs payload controls intact. So this is very helpful because provider-specific integrations tend to break. And when system instructions and replay metadata are handled correctly, advanced users get more reliable behavior from codecs and Copilot instead of strange mismatches between what they configured and what the provider actually receives. So speaking of Copilot as well, if you're using GitHub Copilot, these encrypted responses, reasoning item IDs, are preserved during replay. So Copilot can validate encrypted reasoning across requests without dropping the chain. So this is more so if you're using in sync with OpenAI codecs and GitHub Copilot as well. Now we also got a compatibility registry for plugin infrastructure. So OpenClaw can track SDK versions, config schemas, setup requirements, runtime compatibility, and deprecation records with dated migration metadata. So this makes breaking changes easier to navigate. This is especially useful for anyone running custom plugins or community extensions, because one of the biggest pain points in agent ecosystems is not knowing whether a plugin broke because of config changes, or is it because of SDK drift or runtime incompatibility. So this compatibility registry makes upgrades less of a guessing game. Keyword here is less, okay? Not full fix yet. And for package installs, when bundled plugin mirrors fall back to copying shared chunks, runtime dependencies and their exported subpaths are preserved. So this specifically fixes Windows NPM updates that could fail to load copied dist modules. So if you're self-hosting your OpenClaw, or if you're a Windows user, because these packaging bugs are pretty low level. The install looks fine. But then the runtime breaks on import paths or missing modules. So this package install fix reduce those update risks and make the package deployment feel less fragile. Keyword again, less, not completely. So that's pretty much it for the 4.24 release. As you can see, they are heading more towards a multimodal direction, as we have said in the last OpenClaw video. So this is very I would say, like, if you're using OpenClaw, this is more so for teams who want to integrate OpenClaw agent directly in session, especially for voice. I think that's a very underrated setup there. I know there are AI tools out there that have agents where they can just take notes for you, but if you want a more customized build, OpenClaw is building these tools for you to experiment how you want these sessions to go, how you want your OpenClaw agents to take notes, etc. and etc. So if you find this video helpful, smash up the like button and subscribe to the channel. My name is Ron. Shana now.